Hello, everybody. I'm Overhaul, and today we'll be reviewing Fire Force, Chapter 262. Now, before we get into every Arthur v Dragon fanboys fan craze, we have to go through the usual disclaimer at the beginning of my videos. I'm not a kid-specific channel. Although the topics I discuss might look like they're for kids, it's very easy for me to either start talking about things that aren't for kids, start using words that are meant for kids, or describing things that are meant for kids. Because Fire Force is a little more of a darker series than, I don't know, we never learn or something. I mean, I would want to compare it to modern manga, shonen manga, but even current are pretty dark in some aspects. Ooh, I'm cannot wait for that League of Villains arc to be animated. Ooh, this is gonna be so fucking great. So yeah. Anyways, let's get into this chapter review. So, like we ended up last time, we have Vulcan trying to understand what Arthur meant with just hoist the Excalibur and you'll find you. Now, Vulcan is shocked, he doesn't really understand it because he didn't program that feature. Like, in reality, hoisting it up in the air should really do nothing, but Arthur tells him to do it. And saying logical things to Arthur like, I didn't program the feature, it literally cannot be. It will literally be me putting in, which, by the way, he does say, I didn't program that feature multiple times, is he still has to go along with it in terms of to keep up appearances. And needless to say, it turns up that one side effect of the Adola and Earth becoming one, or Earth becoming sun, or whatever the fuck is going on. Honestly, I'm kind of confused. I mean, if everything's gonna turn into a sun, why are there tornadoes in it? I mean, I know there's oxygen in the sun, but why tornadoes? Maybe it'll be fire tornadoes once it gets animated, I am not sure. But needless to say, Arthur seemed to have found out a little gimmick. And that is, everything that works as in a fantasy world and fantasy land can now work in their world just as likely. What do I mean by that? Well, Vulcan points this way in the sky, and it shows the path to Shu, which should not have really worked by any means of logic in their world, which is saying something, and yet it did, as if this holy blade can find the person who is the truest and the dearest to you, or whatever. Arthur explained that since you and Lisa work together, that's why they found it, but it still is a bit odd. So it leads to that path. Now Vulcan is shocked by this, and he's like, "How? I didn't make that." Like, he isn't completely flabbergasted, but he's being logical and saying the obvious. Now the next thing Vulcan asks is how we get there, and he's and Arthur's just simple. We use a teleportation spell. And you know the funny part about this? Arthur acts normally, like he always does, and Vulcan's like, what the hell? Would you stop it? There's even a funny scene where Arthur tries to intimidate, make the same voice as when a teleportation spell would be activated, like Zoom. And the weird thing is, it actually works. So yeah, basically anything right now, depending on your imagination, is possible. Now I'm guessing this has to be more from the heart and more a more stronger individual person, not like every random civilian. But it is still kind of weird to think about it. Everything like if I were to have be there, I would, and I wasn't, I didn't have the ability to open portals and do all the ungodly things I do. I could literally like just imagine Godzilla versus Superman, and it would probably happen. Like, probably like be an infernal form of Superman and Godzilla fighting or something, or just like that seems to be the logic right now. But anyways, we cut to we cut to the end of the Giovanni storyline, I would say, because we see you finally, and we see that you has actually got back to his human form, like he's no longer infernal. How? I'm not sure. It's implied that Giovanni did something. Maybe it will be mentioned in the volume or something. Like, you know, Fire Force at the end has like those little brief, like, explanations of some of the pages and scenes. I'm guessing that's what's going to happen. But yeah, he's back to normal, and well, okay, there are small differences between you. Like, you seems to have a more sharp face. Like, he has more, you know, like, his head doesn't have that, like, huge round face anymore. It looks more like. Honestly, he reminds me of. What's his name from Hunter x Hunter? Killua's brother, like, big brother, Illumi? Is that how you say his name? Yeah, I think Illumi. He reminds me of him. Like, his outfit is like very similar to it, and those black flowing hair and kind of more lanky appearance. Because for some reason, you does honestly look like very lanky. Like, I know he's already like a really like not exactly a round type of grandma, but like it looks really like bone, skeleton, and skin. That's literally all he has. And he also has like sharp teeth and a mark around his face. Maybe he wore a mask and it was actually a damage from wearing it for too long. Who knows? I mean, Giovanni was wearing those Plague Doctor masks for a very long time. But yeah, he's basically celebrating per and being happy, so he'll finally be able to see Adola, and you know, they're basically, we won, and I'm totally not going to get my ass kicked by the heroes. I'm totally winning. I spent so many years knocking and knocking and knocking. So yeah, but then I don't know where Vulcan and Alpha show up. Like I said, the world's turning into literally a video game at this point. So yeah, it makes sense. Well, it kind of makes sense. And Vulcan isn't really all that shocked at the fact they teleported, and is more focusing on the fact that, well, Giovanni is in Yu's body and Yu's right there. So yeah. So Vulcan calls out to you and tells Giovanni to let you go, and Giovanni says, "Oh, I will let you go. Don't worry about that. After I see the Adola and Evangelist, which will basically be when the world ends." So unfortunately, no. But yeah, now Giovanni does the most obvious mistake he could have made, and that is that he points out that his bug that's controlling his body is right now in the middle of his head with a giant X symbol on it, like a fucking idiot. And alright, when a character has literally an X on their forehead, what do you think's gonna happen? That's right, Arthur immediately got to him and cut it in him. Like, I'm not sure how Arthur managed to not cut Yu's head, but he managed to cut Giovanni, and this means he probably killed Giovanni. Now, I'll be totally honest, I feel like this was a bit cut because I always thought like the final defeat of Giovanni will be from Vulcan and not from Arthur. In fact, Shinra, if anyone, makes more sense than Arthur or Hibana even. Like, Arthur never came up to me like the guy who's gonna give the final blow on Giovanni. But it happened. I mean, granted, Giovanni might be able to come back. Like, I mean, the series has pretty consistently shown that he's one of those cats like, no matter how many times you crush them, no matter how many times you squish them, they will always just come back. In fact, Alpha even compares him to a bug, like, oh, you try and try so much, but you're just a pathetic bug who just gets right before what he desires, but always gets prevented from the last second, because, if Giovanni really is that, then, he's not going to see, like, everything he has done is basically meaning that you still not get to see the Adola or the Evangelist. So, yeah. Then after Giovanni gets gotten rid of from what could be the final time, maybe not, who knows, Vulcan rushes to Shu and he holds him and Rishi, you back to normal, like the same round eyes, the same facial structure, the same. So yeah, you're safe. So you're a little shocked, like what's going on, what is happening, and Vulcan says that it's pretty much alright, and everything is pretty much going to be fine now. And then we get to, let's be real here, like the thing that everyone's just gonna title their fucking video. And that is, well, first of all, we have to mention the fact that the narrative captions changed its form into a more like a mythical video game scroll text, meaning that now we are going full out fucking medieval on this shit, and we cut to Dragon coming back to the planet and just tanking missiles. Yup, tanking missiles. And we have him just screaming despair because he fucking wants to fight Arthur. It's their destiny as the dragon in the night. And now he's complaining that he's not there. Arthur is not there to fight him, but these puny missiles are. So yeah. And weirdly enough, this actually makes Dragon despair, which is surprising considering the fact he was screaming about despair in the first rematch, and now he is the one actually despairing. Like Arthur straight up says, he's despairing for our epic clash. And yeah, the fight is gonna go down the next chapter, and not to spoil much about it, but yeah, it's gonna be an epic fucking battle. I wonder how long it's gonna last. I wonder if there's gonna be any cutaways, or then come back or something. But anyways, it's gonna be a battle. Now, also something that I have to mention is that Arthur says, "Don't worry, Dragon, I'll be there pretty soon," and there's like, "Don't keep me waiting," which implies they're like either they are psychically linked, or they are able to use the weird combination of a dollar or whatever to like kind of communicate with one another. No, I'm not really sure because it seems like there's a fair distance between the two of them, but who cares about details like that? So yeah. So this chapter honestly wasn't really much to speak of, honestly. Look at the runtime though. But yeah, it's a pretty like standard like in the between chapter, in all honesty. It has that feeling, which is a bit odd because they're like one of the most important villains just kinda dies in it, kinda like, alright, time to get rid of you type of way. Although I think like the idea was, I wonder if Giovanni was supposed to die in the peninsula, in that building in Amaterasu before it, but it just felt more right for it to be this way, to be for Vulcan and Arthur to have this kind of moment, but I'm not really sure. Well, anyways, this is pretty much the next chapter is pretty much just gonna be Epic Alpha V Dragon rematch epic. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now anyways, I hope you liked this video. I hope you leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. And that's it. I cannot wait to see all you people next time. Bye.